It's good with it, man. It's your boy C. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if all of you heard of that Rodney Hinton situation of how, you know, his son was gunned down by the police officer and he ended up retaliating by, you know, crashing out. Quite literally. But if you did see it, I'm sure you probably was looking to see how other people in the community react to it. You probably asked people about it, you probably talked to people about it. And I'm sure some of you have got some mixed reactions because a lot of times we're split on these type of topics because it's the side of us who want to stay passive and just not do anything. It's the side of us who want to just recklessly crash out, lash out. It's the side of us who knows something just needs to be done. Something needs to change. You know, should this be an intentional thing that everybody just crash on random police officers who kill their, who, you know what I'm saying, who work at the station of the officers who kill their kids? Maybe, maybe not. But it's a thing to where something needs to be done other than walking in the streets and protesting. And that's what a lot of people can't understand. A lot of people know that, but most people, they just want to, perpetuate that you stupid, you know what I'm saying? Perpetuate that, you know what I'm saying? That everything we do is should be just to appease America. You know, it should just be to try to fit in as easily as possible and don't cause any trouble. But in reality, that shit ain't gonna work for you because them niggas don't know they gonna get picked off soon. Because white people, it's harder for them to separate because what they want is real separation. You know, it's harder for them to separate if you are in their face talking about, yeah, get those niggas. They gonna be like, yeah, right. Get your ass up out of here. And matter of fact, before you get up out of here, we're gonna put a bag over your head and hit you with a baseball bat or some dumb shit. Just do some crazy shit to you. Though, you know what I'm saying? These are the niggas they do try to do crazy shit to. They don't do crazy shit to just niggas. You know what I'm saying? Police officer, man. But a regular white person wouldn't try that with just a regular nigga because a regular nigga ain't gonna play with you. He gonna, you know what I'm saying? He gonna put it on you. He not gonna, or he gonna put a gun on you. He gonna put hands on you. He gonna, or he gonna get up, call somebody. You know what I'm saying? Typically, but the niggas who try to appease, they're gonna try to, hey, talk, and they're gonna try to do, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be in a position to where they can't, you know what I'm saying? They can't react, a lot of times, unless it's police, because police is different. But it's a thing to where it's like, for the most part, when just going back to everything, when you talk about how Hinton, retaliated and everything like that, he was a hurt man who lost his son, who seen that his son was running away and got killed for no reason. Essentially. He got killed for no reason. Anybody who's saying, oh, he stole a car, he did this, then let's take it back to the Metcalf situation. You put hands on me. You put hands on me, homie. And I'm not a police officer. I'm not a grown man. And you with your brother. Y'all both bigger than me. I'm not right to stab you in your heart and taking you out the game forever when you own me. But he's right for shooting a nigga who running away. We gotta keep it real now. We gotta keep it real. We gotta keep it real. And if you don't want to, I mean, we can clearly see why. But it's a thing where I don't like, when these situations happen, I'll say, but I like when we're able to see how, how everybody's really thinking after these situations happen. Because when situations happen and it's really just some type of psyop and they're just bombarding you with propaganda and propaganda and propaganda afterwards, we really don't have time to really see what everyone else is thinking because everyone else is so focused on what they're seeing and they're not really thinking with their own minds. But with this situation, it's not like a situation to where I don't think this one was a psyop. It could be. They get in advance with it. But I don't think this one was a psyop. I think this is just a situation that happened. I think this is a glitch in the matrix. They didn't account for something like this. No one did. No one could have. And that's why I feel like he did it the way he did it. I feel like he held on to that emotion and he crashed out before he let the emotion fade. Because if he did let the emotion fade, the system would have won. Would have took his son out. The emotions would have faded. He wouldn't have crashed out. And life would have went on and everyone would have forgot about his son. But he knew if I sacrifice myself for this, I can create a situation. And that's something I'm gonna talk about later on, how sacrifice plays a role into everything. And to creating something is always sacrifice. And he sacrificed himself to create a spark for something new. Because the next time someone's sons get killed, we're gonna be looking for your reaction. If you're a man. With women it's different. But if you're a grown man, we're looking for your reaction. And you don't have to kill a random police officer. You may not even have to kill the police officer, but you need a strong reaction that does something major. You do need that because they took a life from you. Not just from the community, they took a life from you. Something that you put time into, something that you put your love into, something that you created, something that God blessed you with, and they took it from you wickedly. And you just can't let shit like that slide. I mean, that's the reality. That no person would let that slide. Whether you're a white person, black person, Mexican, a lot of times you wouldn't let that slide because it's wrong. But they just don't do it to everyone else like that. Mexicans, they don't have the pool like that over here, because they're not entrenched over here. They're entrenched in Mexico. So it's different for them. But for us, we have nowhere else to go. We can't be done like this in our home. That's just the reality of the situation. But, that's what I got to say pretty much. That's what I got to say pretty much. You can see different type of people who are denouncing what he did. Oh, that's just despicable. That's just despicable. But they're not talking about what the cop did. And they giving the cop so much leeway for what he did. Like, he was just so scared. And, I mean, if you're, they giving you so much leeway, but they never give us leeway. And we're citizens, supposedly. They expect us to be more trained than the officers of the law who get training, which is ridiculous, but they really don't. You have to be able to see it for what it is. They don't expect us to be trained like that. They just expect us to get killed and be okay with it and take their excuses. That's what it is. That's why whenever you fix something, they come up with a new excuse. Okay, we don't behave rash with the law no more. We're complicit. Well, we felt like he had a gun. Well, he was a drug dealer. Well, he has prior charges. It's always gonna be something. So you have to understand what this is. This is what they're doing. They're trying to take us out. You have, like I say, all these coons. All you have to do is look up Rodney Hinton situation and just look at people like, and I'm not even gonna say no names, but you can just look at some of those people and you can realize, like, yeah, it doesn't even, like, you're not even making sense. It's not logical. Or based off your own logic on other situations, based off your own logic, using the same situation, is something that you're giving this police officer some leeway, some type of, you're not seeing him as just another human with a gun. You're not seeing him as just, a officer. You're not seeing him as a responsible officer of the law who should know everything. You're not seeing him as that. You're seeing him as some type of little kid who's out here scared for his life. No, if anything, that's the victim. But we're not even gonna say that. He's an 18-year-old man. But, no, that's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, it was two men in the situation. And one man pulled the trigger on the other one who was running away. That's a wrong thing. And if anyone can't see that, their mind is obviously clouded, no matter what race and creed you are from. That's just the reality of the situation. I mean, you can say, and like I said, you can say it was the wrong thing unless your mind is clouded by something that opposes the life of our people, and that's a lot of times a lot of people. Like I say, you see it a lot of times, but I've already said it. I'll say it again though. Did this? He sacrificed himself to create a spark. In my opinion, I think he sacrificed himself really for his son, but in result, it was a spark that happened. He sacrificed himself for his son because he believed that his son, was wrongly done, in a life for a life. Will he regret it? Maybe, maybe not, but it's already done. So he used that emotion to push himself forward. But, it could be dangerous. Like I say, it can get worse. It can get more dangerous for us now that they know what what we may be capable of, what we might do now. Everyone sees this, you know. So we gotta be careful. Stay safe out there, man. Take it easy. And, praise God. Do what you're supposed to do. Appreciate it.